Okay, everybody, so it's been a couple weeks since our last update. We want to get you up to speed on our Embryo adoption process. We've had to jump through a number of hoops. Do you want to run through those in in 1 or 2 minutes? Just kind of
quick sec.
The hoops that we jumped through.
So we have a very long list of things we have to go through to kind of get to the end of this whole thing, which is to have a file on us, all our background stuff, all our personal history, and then we submit that to the donor families, or the social worker does. For right now, we have done 3 major things. We've gotten 3 references submitted. There's 6 hours of webinars that we have to watch, and then we have to write a little summary on them and how they.
What are the webinars
impacted us.
about?
It's like the top 15 myths of embryo adoption. The 9 steps to a healthy adoption process.
And this is all under the umbrella of home study.
Yeah. And then, so there's 6 hours of webinars. There's the live scan. So we had to do a background check with the FBI and the DOJ, and then a child abuse and neglect background check for the state of California. So we did that, and then we had to submit those 3 things to, like today they'll be done, the webinars will be done. They'll go to the social worker, we'll get assigned a social worker, and then she comes out. And then she spends time with us and compiles the whole file, and then that gets submitted to the donor families. And then we kind of wait for as long as that process.
So that completes the home study, and then we wait until what?
And then we wait until we get matched with a family that kind of likes us, and we get sent one at a time a folder of the donor families. So we have 3 generations back of medical history, kind of where they live, and some of their personal information. And so we get one at a time. So say we get the first one and we don't like something in it, then we send that back, they send us another one, and we can do that up to 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, we pay another $500, and then we start the process again in the sense of Nightlight trying to match us with a donor family. So.
Okay. And we have to do CPR training.
We have to do CPR training, infant and child CPR training, and that can be online, which is great. We've had to do personal and background, stories on ourselves. We have to get Finnegan, our dog, his vaccines submitted, the kids' vaccines.
So it's pretty. I won't say invasive, but it's comprehensive. You certainly don't need to have all this under your belt to be a biological parent. They just let you leave the hospital with your offspring.
Do we sign something? What do we do?
But in this case, because it's an adoption, there's a lot of due diligence. So we're just in the middle of going through that. Maybe we could talk for a minute about just kind of how we've been doing emotionally. I'll start. I've struggled the last week or 2. I've just had a very busy, stressful last week with work and life and juggling stuff. And, I think at one point we were just like, oh man, is this the right timing? And I think we struggled with just feeling overwhelmed with stuff in general. But we fought through that and continue our process. I think part of the doubts and the challenges and the pressures of life can get to you, and the craziness of what we're doing at our age, our old age that we're doing this, just trusting that God's leading us. And it was really cool to be with our kids this weekend at a conference that was geared towards youth apologetics, and seeing a whole lot of the next generation getting equipped to be able to have an answer for the hope that they have in Christ. And if you know me very well, I can get pretty upset about kind of where our culture's at, and of course as it pertains to adoption, thinking about bringing more kids into this world sometimes can be a scary proposition. And yet, if we don't do that, nobody's going to do that. If the church doesn't do that, if we don't bring up the next generation of believers, no one's going to do it. And so we're committed to that. How have you been doing emotionally on that front?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time because I don't want this to get too long, but I think all the things that I'm learning through the webinars, and then just talking about the open adoption and some of the issues you may deal with the donor families. Some will not want any contact at all, and some people will want to be able to communicate through email or eventually phone call. Some families get together and they get the kids together. I don't know how I quite feel about that, but we're open to it. We have a semi-open adoption, which means let's start with pictures and letters and let's see how that goes, and we'll grow from there. And so just learning all the things that we're learning that that we took advantage of when we had our own kids. It was like we just got pregnant, we just had them, and then we just started life and we started doing what we do. And so this just has whole new angles to it, that we have a whole separate family that we may have to consider as we raise our babies, our second family. And so it's a lot. And being 40, that I'm a little nervous about that, because I was 24 when I had Joshua and 26 when I had Samuel. So that's very different this time around. So I'm not scared, but I think it's gonna be different.
Yeah, we're not spring chickens anymore. Although I still think you could kick my butt any day of the week. Anyway, that's the update, guys. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support in all kinds of ways. We're going to continue to post updates here on GoFundMe and on Facebook. And if you have any questions about where we're at in our journey, if we missed something, it's kind of hard to get out from behind our own lens on this. Appreciate your thoughts, your prayers, your encouragement, your unsolicited advice in inopportune times. No, I'm just kidding. You can keep that to yourself. Anyway, so that's our update, and we'll see you next time.